go. Evening campers, it's your boy Kieran, and today we are going to talk about the highly anticipated new novel from no other than Max Porter from Lanny and Grief is a Thing with Feathers fame. Damn it, come on. The Death of Francis Bacon, a slim novel coming in at only 76 pages, yet for an RRP of, let me do the calculations, £7 whole British pounds, this novel split into 7 vignettes. Or to quote Porter, they are written paintings, of which detail the final moments of Francis Bacon. Now you might be scratching your head thinking, why would Max Porter even write about this topic, and why specifically on Francis Bacon, the surreal artist? It's worth noting that Bacon lived a very exuberant life, one full of violence, one full of drugs, one where he really just took on aqua vita, the water of life. But in his dying days, he is alone in a hospital in Spain, a country where he does not speak the language, and it's believed that not many people even visited him. In his wanting to express himself due to the language barrier, he's unable to, with the most regular guest being a Spanish nun who sits at his side. So Bacon, who is so full of life, is seeing it escape him, and as the artist he is trying to express himself, and that is what Max Porter is trying to get across in this novel. The tone of this book, extremely different from what you would expect from a Porter novel. In his debut novel, we explore grief within a family home. In his second novel, an exploration of life in the pastoral. Having Porter talk about the cataclysmic event that is dying and those final moments doesn't seem too much of a step where you compare his style and form. The playing of how sentences run on, how they abruptly end, how they can be brought through to a stream of consciousness, not only gives the reader an emotive response, but an actual cathartic response to what Porter is putting down on the pages. And more so in The Death of Francis Bacon, Porter exuberantly uses his authorial intent in order to blur between, I'd say, what he's most widely known for, his prose poem style of writing. Definitely here, but more so we have this interplay of monologue, of soliloquy, of theatre. Indeed, I was expecting some experimentation. We are talking about a person raging against the dying of light. I wanted to see how Porter was going to push that form further, maybe even completely breaking from what Porter normally writes. And it's worth noting, I was already thinking how the optimistic Porter was going to write about the macabre, the morbid. But alas, like all of Porter's works, what is very intriguing in the first section, again, the first vignette, the written painting, captivated me, gearing myself up for a blunt, cathartic experience that I could get done in under 1 hour. But I got bored, I got weary so quickly, because what these 7 different written paintings provide us are the same story told a little bit differently. Pretentious might be the word that sits upon your lips, but it's not really pretentious. What this is a Porter novel, and if you've read any Max Porter, you know what you're investing yourself into, and it's nothing fresh about it. It's nothing new, like Francis Bacon alone with no one really to speak to in a hotel room. It's just a little bit sad and disappointing that I think Max Porter's done what Max Porter has done and is really running that wheel till the tires are bald. The additional writing styles you can see dry up and go stale as you turn each page and encounter them again and again. Even go as far to say that the repetition of the first line, "Take a seat, why don't you?" and the last line, "Intensa descansa," of each written painting feels sticky. It feels like a shtick. Those two phrases sandwich themselves between the bulk of this extremely short story. But what the bulk has to do with those two lines are so distant from each other that you don't really know why they've been put in there. Yes, it's to reflect the isolation, it's to reflect his frustration, it's to reflect that he's alone and dying. It's that type of authorial repetition that makes kids sit in a class reading it, go, oh, he's repeating it because we have to know. We have to know that he's lonely. We have to know that he's sad. I truly hope that Francis Bacon died in less than 45 minutes in those last moments, because this is 45 minutes I will never get back. And I hated it so much, I don't want it in my house. Therefore, I'm doing a giveaway. I don't particularly care where you live. I just want it to get rid of. Down below, leave a hand emoji. Follow me over on Instagram, where in 48 hours or sometime, I'm not putting a time restraint on this, it'll be more than 2 days, okay? I'll pick a name at random, I'll message you on Instagram, and I'll send it to you. I'll send you this book. You've made it to the end of the video. You've probably been wondering why, so I'll let you know. So this jumper I wore because it's a Vivienne Westwood jumper, but it looks like it has paint splattered all over it. And I was in Marks and Spencer's once, and the cashier lady went, oh, like, have you been painting? Have you been busy today? And I went, oh, no, it's designer. And she went, yeah, like interior. And I was like, oh no.